A 13-year-old girl does not qualify as being labeled a prostitute, nor can a 13-year-old girl have consensual sex with anyone, nor should they be put in a position to do that. But Katie Johnson was done that, no doubt recruited at Mar-a-Lago golf course, where many of the Epstein girls were recruited, and then sent to work in his harem. I don't quite know the right word. The only reason I mention this to start off, there are many other important things going on in this country, arguably more important, but the reason this story must not die, the reason we must have justice for the victims, is that this is the chemotherapy for America's cancer. Cancer causes a lot of problems, a lot of different issues for people, a lot of health issues. The chemotherapy will take out the cancer so that you can then treat the other problems. Before we can fix anything else that's wrong with this country, we have to get rid of the malignant cancer that is in the White House. And for that to happen, the people who are his cult followers have to wake up and understand who this person is. All the reports are coming out. Epstein had video, kept libraries of videos and names and all of this. And apparently Attorney General Pam Bondi has them all. She was well aware of them when she was Attorney General of Florida, when she chose not to prosecute either of the guys or anybody involved in that activity. And what we have to do now is wake people up so that more than just the 40% on the left are concerned about this. Once we achieve the removal of the cancer, we can then start to address the rest of the ailments. So new polls are out, and the result of all this crazy Kristi Noem dress-up Barbie ice crap has resulted in one thing. Democrats have always opposed these measures. Now Republicans are starting to oppose them too. It's one thing to talk about not having open borders. We didn't have open borders. No one wants open borders. But it's another thing to see people who are here legally doing what they are required to do to stay here legally, having their status as legal revoked, and then being arrested for being here illegally. That's like if I robbed a bank. If I'm a police officer and I rob a bank and I stop you on the street, I pull you over and I put the money in your back seat and then I arrest you for bank robbery. That's what this is. It's bait and switch. So number one, Republicans are turning against this policy, which is very impressive because prior to this, they were heavily in favor. Number two, what we're seeing are the two most popular politicians in America right now are both populists. How can we not get this message across strongly enough? Donald Trump was elected because he's a populist. It happens that he doesn't believe in any of the populism he espouses. He doesn't believe in anything except himself. But Bernie Sanders has had the same message for 50 years. He's been a public servant. And the number two most popular politician, only slightly less in the high 60s, is AOC. Of course. She speaks truth to power. Everything she says makes sense. The number one thing they're in favor of is health care for all. It actually saves every country that has what would amount to Medicare for all. It's cheaper to administer. So yeah, that's pretty popular. It's more popular than like curing cancer is popular. High 70s. The other thing people really like is having the rich pay their fair share. And the only reason they don't pay their fair share is this has been something of an oligarchy for a long time, since Reagan repealed the top tax rate. They don't have to pay hardly any taxes. So you're asking the poor and the middle class to shoulder the entire tax burden for the people who get the most benefit from everything that the poor and the middle class do. The infrastructure, the manpower, the work. So that makes perfect sense. Only 17% of people believe that Donald Trump had nothing to do with Epstein and that it's all a misunderstanding. 75% of Americans oppose the Justice Department's handling and Trump's personal handling of Trumpstein, the Epstein ongoing case. You know how previous presidents have treated, other than, even Richard Nixon admitted what he was doing and stepped down, right? They were going to impeach him and remove him, so he left office willingly. Remember when this guy named Donald Trump, who had never been president, he was only a failed talk show host, and he was doing anything to get attention for himself, accused President Barack Obama of not being born in America? So what did President Obama do? He called a press conference. He held up his birth certificate, confirming whatever it is Trump didn't know, that Hawaii's a state. I guess people didn't know that. Hawaii is one of the 50 United States. He presented his birth certificate and said, "I'm sorry, I can't take questions. I'm in the middle of being president, and he then went and gave the order to kill Osama bin Laden. Pretty important work. I think that's probably beyond our current president. That's how you handle this. We have had these kind of scandals in the past, and they've been dealt with swiftly. But now when you have someone who is neck deep, and now you'll notice all the old tropes are coming out, all his greatest hits. Something about arresting Obama, I don't even know. I didn't even look into that. He's throwing out Russiagate. He's throwing out stolen elections. He's blah, blah, blah. He's trying anything. And he's trying to sue, well, he is suing Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch? For $20 billion because the Wall Street Journal released the story of him and the napkin, or the picture that he drew for Epstein on his 50th birthday. Wink, wink, nod, nod, our sexy secret. He's suing Rupert Murdoch. Listen, the only reason Trump is not in jail is Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch owns Fox News. He's the network that props this guy up. Trump is not what MAGA are all about. MAGA are all about Fox News. If, in response to a $20 billion lawsuit, Rupert Murdoch were to say, hey, you know what, we're not backing you anymore, and Fox News started reporting the truth, you know what Trump tried to have his people do to his vice president? He wanted them to hang him. I think they would show up at Mar-a-Lago and be ready to hang this bastard. And I would cheer in a way that I don't cheer people for violence. I would cheer that. Hey, my name's Bill. I'm a college professor in Dallas, Texas, and as always, thanks for watching.